Planet Coaster 2 just got announced and I already got a sneak peek at the game, so here is my brief overview of everything you need to know about Planet Coaster 2. Dive into the thrilling world of Planet Coaster 2. Construct the theme park of your dreams with an initiative piece-by-piece building system as you meticulously craft and customize every aspect of your park like never before, down to the smallest detail. From towering roller coasters to spectacular twisting water slides, let your imagination reach new heights to delight and thrill your guests. That's the first paragraph of the Planet Coaster 2 Steam page. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire Steam page, I just highlighted a bunch of stuff where it drew my interest or where I can maybe elaborate a bit more with some info that maybe is not on here. But let's first go through the big new features coming to Planet Coaster 2. Now, as you already heard from the first paragraph, the biggest feature coming to Planet Coaster 2 is water parks. This means slides and pools. Now, I've already seen these up in action at the preview event, so let's go through the slides and the pools, starting with the slides. For me, the water slides are the most interesting feature because you don't build these slides like you would with a flat ride. You build these water slides like you would build a coaster. So you can go completely crazy with it. You have your regular slides. You also have the slides where you get shot down the slides, like where you're in a tube and the floor opens up underneath you. I think we've all seen these kinds of slides. And then there is a slide where you go down with multiple people in a tube. You can also have features along the slide. For example, with that tube, there was a funnel feature that they showed me. There was a boomerang feature. You can go completely crazy with these water slides. And then on the other side, you have pools. Now, they didn't show me how you built these, so that's something to keep in mind that I don't know how you built the pools. But when it comes to the pools, you also have different kinds of pools. You have your regular pools, you have your lazy rivers, your wave pools. So that's also something to look forward to. And then you can combine both of these features probably in some way with a coaster, not as in like the coaster drops down in a pool, but you can have like a coaster twisting around a slide or a coaster going very closely above a pool. So I am very curious to see how people will make these features interact. Next on the list is the improved pathing system. Now, the pathing system is not significantly different, although they did show me that it's much easier now to build squares and large plazas, but the same pathing system is still in Planet Coaster 2 compared to Planet Coaster 1 and Planet Zoo 2. They just refined it a lot more. Now then, some other new features are like a new event sequencer tool. Of course, there's going to be new coasters and flat rides. I would assume that there's definitely a lot more water-based rides as well. Now, going into some big features for the builders among us. They have revealed the building teams of Planet Coaster 2. So there's the original building team. And then there's the 4 other ones that they revealed here. The mythology team, which I assume might be like Greek, or at least like sort of Mediterranean inspired, maybe. They didn't show me this one. The Sunny Resort team and the Vibrant Aquatic team, they did show me these two. Now, when it came to the Sunny Resort team, they later on said like, oh, this is California. When I first saw it on the sneak peek or the sneak preview, I thought Florida, but then it's not that far apart. Like California, Florida. California is less alcohol, more depression. But then there's also the, as I said, Vibrant Aquatic team, which in the way that they built it really made me think of SpongeBob. Although they did say that you can recolor the rocks, so you don't have to make it look like SpongeBob, but it just made me think back of the time that I visited movie park in Germany and they had a SpongeBob theme ride, and it was that to an exact replica. Well, not replica, but it reminded me so much of SpongeBob. And then there's the Rustic Viking team. So, as I said, the mythology team and the Viking team, they didn't show me in the preview. But as a lover of mythology, I'm very happy. Now, as for the last big feature coming to Planet Coaster 2, ever want to stick something to your ride? This means flat rides and coasters. because you are now going to be able to do that. So if you wanted to spruce up your ride car with like lights and scenery, you can do that now. If you wanted to embellish your teacup ride with some nice weenie in the middle, you can do that, and it will actually move with the ride. So if you stick like a light to a coaster car, it will go with the coaster car throughout the coaster. And you can then also, as they've shown me, if you build something on one side of like a coaster car, you can then mirror it easily on the other side, which was my biggest fear when I first got told like, oh yeah, you can place things on a ride. How am I going to make this symmetrical? Because my brain doesn't want coaster cars to not be symmetrical for whatever reason. So there's a lot of different features when it comes to sticking things to your rides. And then of course, because you can stick things to rides, you might want to scale down certain pieces, which you can now also able to do. So now we can finally scale down those big humongous things and make the tiny things like door handles. Yes, I will go insane with this feature and you can't stop me. If you give me scaling, everything is going to be tiny. Your trees are going to be bushes. Although, let's be honest, everybody's done that. Everybody has shoved a tree down into the ground and pretended it was a bush. Now let's look at the management side, starting off of course with the water parks. As it says here, take care of your guests' health, well-being with shade coverage, sunscreen and employing lifeguards and mechanics to make sure no one gets hurt. Now there's 3 new things already in that sentence. The shade coverage and sunscreen. Well, the sunscreen, as far as I know, you can get through a shop, so there's a new shop building there. Employing lifeguards, so that's a new staff member. And the shade coverage is, I think, something along the kinds of like a need of a guest, that if they stay out of the shade too long in a water park, they might get burned or something, and then maybe the sunscreen will alleviate that. I don't know the exact details there, but there are some other things that I know from the sneak preview. So when it comes to water parks, you can't just simply have your guests go from a coaster into a water park, because you will need access passes, which is another new kind of shop. So your guests will need to get a access pass to the water park. You will need to build a sort of separate entrance to your water park from the rest of your park. Now this doesn't mean that like you need to build like a separate complete entrance. It's just that like you need a gate within your park that kind of separates your water park from the rest of your park, or from the rest of your theme park. And then you also need changing rooms, because the guests will of course need to be able to change into their bathing suits. So that's a new kind of shop. It's kind of similar looking to a toilet. And then, of course, as I said, there's a sunscreen. I think there was also something where you can get like the tubes, but I'm not sure if I misremember that. But there are some different features alongside water parks going on to the management side. And then I just wanted to quickly add in also, there is a new mascot for your water parks. So we had King Coaster, and now we have, I forgot her name, so I'm just going to call her Queen Splash, I think. It's basically a female version of the King Coaster mascot, but themed to water parks. Now they also here say like a new heat map tool to see guest satisfaction. I have personally not seen this yet in the preview. Maybe it will get shown later on. But it would be a nice feature to make it a lot easier to see, like, oh, you need to do this, or this area is lacking in this. But I haven't seen this personally as of yet. Now, then over to the online side. Now, this doesn't mean Planet Coaster 2 is going to be online, but it's just about how you're going to share things with the rest of the community. And I originally read over this, but you can now have a shared save. So if you want to be able to play together, you can now have a shared save where you can both play. I don't know if you can play simultaneously, but it's probably going to just be an easier way to play together in the same park. Now I'm going to skip over something here because here is something that piques my interest. Everything will be available directly from the in-game menu or online on the Frontier workshop. Am I right to assume here that we're not going to use the Steam workshop anymore here, and that Frontier is going to have their own workshop for creations and blueprints and such? I'm very curious about this. I haven't seen anything about this yet, and keep this in mind. This might be something new. This might be me reading too much into this, but to me it just drew my interest of like, oh, this is, they call it Frontier Workshop here instead of Steam Workshop. Does this mean that it's going to be like a separate platform away from Steam where you will be now sharing your blueprints and your parks and whatever you build? Now we're going back to the general game, because here I also see race to the top of the leaderboards in franchise mode or explore your creativity together in sandbox mode. And I've looked through this entire page and I don't hear or see anything about scenarios or a campaign. So I don't know if there's not going to be one or that it's just like, oh, we're going to reveal this later. So that's also something to keep in mind, that for right now, franchise mode and sandbox mode are confirmed, but I haven't seen anything and haven't read anything in here about like a scenario mode or like a campaign mode. Then finally we have visit other parks. As it says here, explore parks built by other coaster managers in first person, experience their coasters, rides, slides and pulls, and get soaked in the fun. If I remember this correctly, this is going to be almost the same, if not completely the same as first person mode in Planet Zoo 2. So you load up a save file and you go into first person mode and you can just walk around, in this case the theme park instead of a zoo. Now the rest is pretty similar to Planet Coaster 1, where it now goes about like the shaping the terrain, so the terrain tools, building tools. I think a lot of that will be very familiar to Planet Coaster or will be pretty much the same. However, what I did read afterwards is enjoy all new scenery from 5 exciting themes. Now, if you remember earlier on, I named 4 teams: the Mythology team, Sunny Resort team, Vibrant Aquatic team, and the Rustic Viking team. Now, does this mean, oh, there's a 5th unreleased team? Probably not, but I really thought like, oh yeah, there's another team that they haven't shown yet. This might just be like the original Planet Coaster team that they are including here in these 5 teams. Now the final paragraph also answers a question I heard earlier about sharing save files. So I was wondering, oh, can you build simultaneously in the same save file? No, you can't. As it says here, team up with friends in sandbox and franchise mode to build asynchronously. I probably mispronounced that, but as far as I know, that does mean that no, you can't build at the same time, but it will be a lot easier to share a save so that you can build together. Now, I do want to close this video off with a little bit of speculation, which is about hotels. Now, they didn't show me any hotels in the sneak preview. There's no hotels being mentioned anywhere on the Steam page. But the buildings look suspicious. Like the buildings that you will see in the screenshots, in the videos. And then there's the Sunny Resort team. Now again, it's just the buildings look suspicious. They haven't shown me any hotels. So this is just speculation or just guessing. But the buildings be suspicious. They look like hotels. And with water parks and theme parks combined, hotels? Maybe. Probably not, maybe a later edition. But it would be fun to see them right off the bat. Anyways, that's everything that I know about Planet Coaster 2. Now, I might have forgotten stuff, I might have read over stuff. So if you find anything new, let me know. But otherwise, what do you think of Planet Coaster 2? What do you think of the water rides, the water parks? Let me know down below in the comments. And with that being said, I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more. And there's memberships if you want emotes. But anyways, have a wonderful day, guys. Bye bye.